Hello, this is Chip McGee, Superintendent of Schools in the Pelham School District. Good to see you. This is another edition of Pelham School District Today. And this one I'm very excited about because it's a new topic that we haven't had as part of our discussions before, artificial intelligence. And I'm going to jump right in and ask my three distinguished guests if you could just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role. I'll start with you, Jenna.
I'm Jeannie Wagner. I'm the instructional coach at Pelham High School. I was a business teacher there for the first 9 years I was there, and have been in this role for the last 7 or 8 years.
Nice.
I'm not really sure. And so just excited to tackle AI and help work with teachers and students and figure out a path forward with this big bomb that's been dropped on us.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I'm Jeannie Baker. I'm the instructional coach at the elementary school.
Oh, you two have the same job.
We do.
Yeah, different schools. What a coincidence. All
This
right,
is the
good.
best team
Yeah,
also of
yeah.
instructional coaches. I always say I have the best job. I get to work with all the students and all of the teachers,
Mhm.
partnering together with that goal of helping students learn and
Mhm.
have fun learning.
Yeah.
So
Good. Patty?
I'm Patti Lamontagne. I'm the instructional coach at Pelham Memorial, the middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy my job because I get to work with students and staff, and my day is different every day.
Yeah, actually, all three of yours are, and different than each other, even though it's the same
Yes.
job. So I thought maybe we could just start separate from artificial intelligence. I think it's a wonderful thing in the district that we have instructional coaches. And what are some, for instances, of things that you do in any given day that you enjoy working with teachers and students? Just you have some examples of things that you do?
Yeah, I'll start this
All right.
morning. I worked in a PLC group with some math teachers and a special ed teacher on just differences between formative and summative assessments
All right.
and helping to maximize those things for learning. So just pedagogical things that like teaching things, not always technology based things, but a lot of times those will work into the conversation.
So just for the regular viewer, what's a PLC?
PLC is a professional learning community.
Mhm.
So it's essentially a group of teachers who collaborate for the first 30 minutes of the school day. And in this case, I get to bounce around a little bit. So
Uh-huh.
in this case, I had a mixed PLC of math and special ed teachers.
Oh, nice. And what's a formative assessment? I mean, the educators these days, they use
All
such
the
crazy
lingo.
words, all
the
this
jargon.
lingo.
Sorry,
What's-
folks. Sorry
yeah,
about
no, that's
that.
all right.
Formative assessments are any activity that we use as teachers to help students learn.
Mhm.
That's at its face. And so a summative assessment is anytime we're measuring the learning, so putting a number on that learning.
Mhm.
And so the formative process is practice to get us to that
So you
summative.
were talking about the difference between those two
Differences,
today.
distinctions,
Mhm.
things that make those things more efficient to help
Mhm.
kids learn. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's one thing. What's something that you two have been up to?
Well, when I go to PLCs too, I go to all of them,
Mm-hmm.
and then I bring in suggestions, like a new tool that's come out, or when Google has updated something, I'll say be on the lookout for this, because when Google updates, not everybody gets it at the same time.
Yes.
So I let them know it's coming. This week I gave them, I actually gave them a little podcast from Caitlin Tucker about making like a list of activities, not just station rotation or something different that she was doing, and it was she called it a playlist. So I really liked that, and I thought that was different, and I sent that to teachers. And I also gave them a template that Matt Miller came out with for two students to work together, and one would be the person asking questions, and the other one was the bot answering them. So I thought that would be kind of cool, because AI has been out there, so we could have, so that's just an activity that they could do.
I would love to use that as the bridge into AI, but I still want to hear Jeannie from you. So what's something fun you do?
something fun I do beyond the PLCs and working with the
Yeah.
grade level teams of teachers. I also take a group called Panther Techs.
Uh-huh.
And I have 4th grade Panther Techs and 5th grade Panther Techs, and it's working with these amazing young students and developing them as leaders in learning and with technology. And they often take what they learn and they share it through the PES News.
Mm-hmm.
They share it with their teachers, their classrooms.
I love
and
putting those news into my Friday updates. It's so much fun.
I love it too, and
Yeah.
the kids feel so proud of the work that they're doing.
It's slick. It's really a nice little news program now.
And you look at where we're going, kids are creating content, so let's
Yeah.
have them create it with purpose.
Yeah.
So working with Panther Text is really a highlight for my job.
Yeah, and so that was a good just set of examples of teachers and students. There's a lot of that interaction, and I'm going to go back to artificial intelligence. What I'd like to ask, just to start, is I'm going to ask the kind of Joe, everyday Joe question. Aren't they all going to just use this to write their papers? And doesn't that kind of destroy all of education? I mean, right? It's like so scary.
Certainly a question that we've heard before.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
One that we're all grappling with, and
Uh-huh.
I think I'm glad that you voiced that because we have to own that. We have
Right.
to own the things that people are afraid of. And
Yeah.
I think a few weeks ago that you guys gave us the opportunity to do a little keynote presentation to all of our staff. And
Mm-hmm.
so we're trying to kind of tamp down that fear a little bit by showing what AI can actually do for us,
Uh-huh.
and start by figuring out, okay, how can we operationalize this for good, and to benefit us in the learning environment. So we went at it from the perspective of we can start by seeing how AI can be used as an assistant for us, to kind of you think of what an assistant does, right? If
Yeah.
I had an assistant, I would want them to take some things off of my plate. And so we were kind of selling this to the teachers as it can take some things off of your plate while still allowing you to use the bulk of your time for the things that make you uniquely an expert in your field.
Yeah, and so that, so I sat there, and I admit to sitting down thinking, AI scares me. It's just, and that helped turn my thinking a little bit to say, oh, it could help with some of these tasks. And I'm wondering if you have, for instances there, I know you do, you thought about this. Are there some places where any of you have thought, this could be a helpful tool for teachers to lighten their load? Any of those come to mind?
Absolutely. There's a number of tools which help with the planning.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the generative AI chatbots also can be used conversationally, so it can help you brainstorm new ideas, bounce ideas off. And there's also some more niche parts of AI too, where you can take a task and put it into the AI, click a button, and it'll break down the task. So it will help you make manageable bites for your students if you're looking at a project that has a lot of aspects to it.
All right, so if you've got an assignment and need to just think through how should I break this up. So that's a specialized chat bot. Am I saying that the right way?
Well, there's a lot of different AI tools that are available right now. And just in exploring and learning about the different tools, you see the different functionalities. So there is one out there right now that really does help that population that with that kind of executive functioning to break down those tasks. So a teacher
Interesting.
can very quickly take a task and put it into manageable steps.
Interesting. All right, so I don't know if there was one that you had or one of the tools that you think, oh, this might make teachers' lives easier.
There are a lot of them out there. I sat down with a new teacher. She's starting something totally from scratch. I have to do a whole rubric on this. And so I said, what are you looking for? And I just typed it in, and then when we were all done, we printed it out. She did make some tweaks to it, which I expect all teachers do. Even when they go from one semester to the other or 1 year to another, you're going to tweak it to fit your students.
And just, again, to make it not just educators, what's a rubric?
A rubric is a scoring guide.
Uh-huh.
Personally, I don't like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't like having those. So when I pass them out to my students, I always have them fold it and said the 5 score. This is what we're aiming for. And then, but when you get it back, if you've received less than a 5, then you understand.
Yeah.
So it's a way to score, and it's a way to break down the assignment too, to let the student know where they excel and where they need more help in.
And if I heard you right, that artificial intelligence helps just set that up because this teacher didn't have anything
Right.
and wrote her essentially a rough draft
Exactly.
and that she could fiddle with. One other observation I just want to make, because I enjoy these conversations so much, is when you were talking about it, you weren't just talking about the AI tool. You weren't just talking about the rubric. You were talking about the kind of little instructional tweaks, like and then you fold the paper over
Yeah.
and you hand it out this way, because that's really where the rubber hits the road.
Yes.
It's still kids in a room with an adult doing things.
Exactly.
And so it's just nice that it's a reminder for me that yes, it's instructional coach for technology, but it's really instructional coach for the whole gamut of making classrooms really positive with teaching and learning. All right, so I want you to know that when I saw your presentation, I think your goal was to bring anxiety from here down a degree. And part of the reason I felt comfortable asking you to do this is because my anxiety went down a great deal. And so if you were to share some things that are either interesting to you professionally, let's start with that, interesting to you professionally about where AI might go, that are making you curious, that are making you excited, things that you're just beginning to wonder about. Not that, not that we're promising we're doing this. This is just so that the community knows the good professionals are thinking about it. What's on your list?
I think I'm really excited to see the evolution of this because we're really on the front end of the explosion of these tools and how they apply to education. And kind of to what Jeannie was talking about, there are some tools that are specializing in different areas of education because they want to sell us a product, right? And it behooves them to give us something that's going to do things better. And so I'm really interested to see how they become more niche and more applicable to all the different jobs that educators do. Mm-hmm. And so that's part of our job right now is to weed through. Everybody has one that's free now to get us to kind of rope us in. But it's fun for me, and I know it is fun for my colleagues here to just weed through and see what's applicable to what each of us do. Mm-hmm. And so it'll be fun to kind of figure out, down the road 5 years from now, does that mean there's an all-in-one tool that we can all use as a district and it becomes the go-to?
Yeah.
Or will there be something specialized for each kind of department?
Little niches, departments and levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's impossible to figure that out at this point.
Yeah, we're early in the wave here, aren't we?
Yeah.
So the last question I want to ask is, parents who have students in the district and then they come home and AI works on those devices at home too. Mm-hmm. Do you have any advice or thoughts? Because I feel like as parents there's just wave after wave of technology, and just what are your thoughts about that?
I do think they need to caution their child as to the information they put in there, because the back end is collecting data, and we want to keep them safe. So you want to make sure to put no personal information in there, but you also want them to use it with an adult guidance, because it's still so new that it would be to their benefit if they just waited until the adults worked out all the kids.
I love the idea of them sitting down together and working with the tools together to see what the functionality is, to see what the capabilities are, so they can talk through, how is this applicable to us? What am I going to use it for? What should you be using it for? So those conversations, we'll have those eventually. But man, it would be wonderful if parents and families had those conversations. So kids were thinking about those
and modeling the responsible
responsible use,
responsible ethical use of AI.
Yeah, and so that's two last things to wrap up. One is we as a district are already committed to responsible use of technology, and that's an entire agreement that students and staff all agree to every year, and some pretty tight rules about data use here. But they don't extend home, and so that's a place where parents can be really helpful, is help them be responsible at home too. The other thing, and this just harkens back to Gina, something that you taught me, I think 3 years ago now, that the way you phrased it when I first heard it is open another tab. So if you're going down a weird thread, whether this is on the internet or not, this is what your research showed, open another tab is a great way to just get another perspective on where are we right now. And we have that poster all over the place, so I get reminded of it. And it is so simple and so spot on, because it just lets you step away, get out of that perspective and take another one. So I really appreciate your time here.
Oh, this was good.
This was another and very fun episode of Pelham School District Today, talking about artificial intelligence and how it is beginning to impact the schools and what we're doing to respond. Thank you.